104% on imports coming from China. That means my small business that I put everything into is on.
So many videos like this I am seeing. Small businesses are tanking because they bought things from China, slapped their label on them for pennies on the dollar, had them sent here, and then marked them up 150%. Have you ever asked yourself why that stuff is so cheap? It astounds me that people are just now waking up to the fact that the majority of the big expensive brands that they buy, that they find, that they love, are all coming from China.
Chinese producers are all over social media right now, and they're exposing just who is targeted by Trump's tariffs. And it's not the American consumers, and it's not the Chinese producers. It's actually our international corporations who have sold out American prosperity for their own profits.
Let's talk about the realities of what, and this is saying, I've been reading a lot of this lately. Going back, in 1992, I voted for Ross Perot. Mm-hmm. You know why I voted for Ross Perot? For one reason, because he was the only candidate that talked about how devastating NAFTA would be to American jobs and to our manufacturing base. And he talked about that giant sucking sound. I've read this book here in the last week, Save Your Jobs, Save Our Country, Why NAFTA Must Be Stopped Now. You know what's interesting? Since then, Ross Perot's become a prophet. Since NAFTA was inception in 1993, we've lost 90,000 manufacturing facilities in this country, millions of jobs. And these weren't, low-end jobs. These were jobs that paid decent wages, had good benefits, retirement security.
I agree with you.
They built communities.
But here's my thing.
But here's the deal.
NAFTA was 30 years ago. The situation that we are dealing with right now, and I agree with you. I'm on the side of the folks that said this did the American workers wrong. Absolutely. But right now, we are dealing with a situation where...
Yes, I didn't know this will affect people in China like this. Extremely concerning. A lot of videos are pouring here and there, especially on TikTok. Company owners complaining how things are not going. I really wonder if these people realize that this could actually happen, because the mainstream media and some liberals were extremely excited when this China guy said, "Oh, I'm going to raise my own tariff to this." In comparison to what Trump put up, look at the people complaining. And this president in China was second to what Trump is saying because his citizens are not okay. Their markets were in high demand, but immediately Trump enforced this tariff. A lot is going wrong. It is important. I show you some videos.
The first thing. And we support tariffs as a tool in the toolbox, not the end-all, be-all. We got to fix the broken trade system. But tariffs are a motivator to make these companies do the right thing.
Out of time, but a very quick question. How concerned are you about what's happening to the U.S. dollar? We have seen the dollar at having its worst week in 3 years. There are concerns about a weakening dollar because of all this uncertainty. How concerned are you about that?
I am not concerned about it. We are focused on our tariff policy. We are focused. We have so many countries coming in to negotiate with us. The president has given us the ability, let's go get these great deals done. And we're on it, and the president's on it, and we're really, really focused on delivering the best thing for the American people.
That the United States will dip into a recession because of President Trump's tariffs?
I think that right now we are at a decision-making point and very close to a recession. And I'm worried about something worse than a recession if this isn't handled well. A recession is 2 negative quarters of GDP, and whether it goes slightly there, we always have those things. We have something that's much more profound. We have a breaking down of the monetary order. We are going to change the monetary order because we cannot spend the amounts of money, so we have that problem. And when we talk about the dollar and we talk about tariffs, we have that. We are having profound changes in our domestic order, how ruling is existing, and we're having profound changes in the world order. Such times are very much like the 1930s. I've studied history, and this repeats over and over again. So if you take tariffs, if you take debt, if you take the rising power challenging the existing power, if you take those factors and look at the factors, those changes in the orders, the systems, are very, very disruptive. How that's handled could produce something that is much worse than a recession, or it could be handled well.
What's very different here is normally when stocks go down as much as they have, there's a flight to quality, and quality becomes defined as U.S. Treasuries and the U.S. dollar. In this particular downdraft in the market, we're seeing Treasury yields go up and the dollar weaken. That's kind of an alarming trend. To me, that's flashing yellow that something is going on here more than just deleveraging.
Yes, if you ask me what I've learned during this period, that some of the luxury brands you buy expensively are all made in China. About 80%, these people are putting out videos upon videos like they export these things into these countries like France, then they just put the mark made in France. That is all. So a lot of people are concerned with this. I don't know if people will start boycotting some of this brand or what exactly, because this is actually a fight I see on TikTok. They started creating videos, putting out, exposing all the brands that have been made in China. Reason being because people said anything they see made in China, they are not interested. So they decided to expose what is happening. If not of this tariff, I will tell you, we wouldn't know that this is actually going on.
I think that's what we're seeing here.
Per worker, Chinese producers are all over social media right now, and they're exposing just who is targeted by Trump's tariffs. And it's not the American consumers, and it's not the Chinese producers. It's actually our international corporations who have sold out American prosperity for their own profits. Let me illustrate. Let's use this example, Nike. Now, these are fictitious numbers, just for example. But let's say that Nike buys shoes from this company that manufactures Nike shoes for $10 a Nike shoe, which isn't very far off. Nike turns around and sells that shoe at retail for $100. Here's the interesting part about tariffs. You're not paying tariffs on the retail price. This is not a tax in the classic sense. The way the economists who are bought and paid for are trying to conflate it as. It is a tax on the import. This means with a 25% tariff, Nike's going to have to pay $2.50 to the US government every time it imports a Nike shoe at $10. So this $2.50 gets remitted to the American government, to American citizens. Now Nike's cost $10 for the shoe, $2.50 for the import tax. This means they're netting $87 per shoe. Now that's net, not profit. There are going to be other costs that are going to have to come from that. But you can see that the increase in cost is $2.50. So let's say that Nike passes the entire cost onto the consumer, even a little more, just because of the fear of tariffs. $103 a shoe now. That is the impact of a 25% tariff. So what the Chinese producers on TikTok are saying, instead of the American consumer buying it for $103, or let's just say that the company Nike eats all $2.50 of the tariff and still sells it for $100, you're way better off over here, paying directly to China, including the tariff, $12.50 a shoe plus shipping. So as you can see, the tariffs are not meant to hurt consumers. They're not meant to hurt China. They don't really affect China at all. They're meant to protect American industry. They're meant to protect Americans from their corporations who will sell them out for a profit. So
yes, I think this is a very good explanation to what is going on. I want to see your opinion pertaining to this. Bimaha seems not to be happy with this issue of tariffs. I have seen him complaining every single day about it. Like, what is this? But I wonder if he even understands exactly what is actually even happening.
Tariffs? Did I ever think I was going to be talking about tariffs every day? I really didn't. I did not see that coming up. And it's boring. I don't like tariffs. Look, I think I'm generally with the consensus, which is that this is some chaotic attempt to bring back an era in this country that has just gone with the wind, the manufacturing. But I don't know. I was shocked to see that the failing New York Times
You're even sounding like him.
Their headline a week ago was "Global Trade Robs U.S." Trump says, "Does he have a point?"
Yeah. I mean, I think Trump has this amazing ability to correctly diagnose a problem and then to bungle the solution with a policy that's totally incoherent and incompetent.
The meltdown on the establishment right and the Trump hating left over the volatility caused by Trump's change in tariffs is everywhere. Good luck tuning into a podcast, a television show, picking up a paper without being told how terrible these decisions are and how Trump doesn't know what he's doing. You actively have to work to find somebody like you who says, let me tell you another way of looking at this.
Thank you guys who has been sharing out my videos. God bless you abundantly. If you see any clips after this, that is just for the YT algorithm.
The only one it could be is Bernie Sanders.
We are moving in the direction of oligarchy.
Elon Musk tweeting this video ahead of the rally with clips of Sanders discussing threats of oligarchy more than 30 years ago.
Well, Elon, you're damn right. That's what I've been talking about.
As you know, 12 days ago, I just wanted to report.
It would be hard to think of a more elegant way to...
How much is enough money?
Rating, and that would ordinarily...
I know better than anybody. Forget about...
Wish the common
and a lot of people who
didn't vote.
And finally, new rule to those on the right.
Isn't exactly getting
Hoped against hope. Rod Schimmel.
He says someone has to come up with a strategy.
No,
you get a certain amount of cult followers for...
In the downfall of the broken way.
With
a capital B.
What do you think of the new leadership, Jasmine, AOC?